Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our gift making workshop. Thank you for being here online with us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Today we have a very special guest, and if you follow our previous Sertas Budaya online seminar, she's a returning guest. She was a speaker there, and she is Aleksandra Strzelichowska. Welcome, Aleksandra.
Hello.
Hello. You are now joining us from your home office in the Netherlands, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Aleksandra is a senior online marketing specialist at Europeana Foundation. It's Europeana is Europe's online platform for cultural heritage. So it's the place online where you can find most of Europe's cultural treasure, right? And you are also an organizer of Give It Up,
Yeah.
an annual gift making competition using digitalized cultural heritage. And that's why you're here. You're gonna share your experiences in organizing Give It Up, and we are going to also listen to you on how to create gifts using public domain images. So before I hand it over to you, Aleksandra, just a little bit of housekeeping for participants. For those of you who want to listen to the workshop in Bahasa Indonesia, we provide a live interpretation. You can go to the bottom control panel of your Zoom windows and you can click interpretation. You should find Indonesian as an option there, and you can click there to listen to our interpreter, Mbak Anissa. Thank you, Mbak Anissa, for uh, joining us as an interpreter today. And we our agenda today is Aleksandra is going to share a little bit about her experience in organizing Give It Up, and then we are going to have a hands-on workshop. We are going to create. You are going to create your own GIF using public domain images. And once you've created your own GIF, you will submit it to us because we have already prepared merchandise for top three most creative gift. So stay tuned and prepare to be your most creative. And if you have any questions when Aleksandra is giving her presentation, you can always type it on the chat box. We will collect all of your questions for discussion, and we will answer it. Hopefully, we can answer them all at the end of the session when we open the Q&A session. While we're doing the workshop, you are welcome to raise your hands or unmute your audio if you have difficulties, so you can ask your questions directly, and Aleksandra will assist you if you have any problem or trouble in making your gift. So we have just a moment before I hand it over to you, Aleksandra, because we have some of participants just joining us right now. Welcome. So welcome to all participants. I will not be any more longer. So Aleksandra, please, I hand it over to you and your presentation.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's really great to be here. I hope you have a creative afternoon, which for me is the morning because it's 8 in the morning here in the Netherlands. So I will share my screen now. And also on the very top on the chat, you have the link to the presentation that I will be showing. So later on, when you are creating your own GIF, you can always get back to there. All the resources and all the images are there for you. Right now, I am sharing it so that you can see it. And we'll learn about a few different techniques of gift making. I see people already in the presentation, which is great. But at the beginning, let's talk about Give It Up. So it's a contest in which we ask people to create gifts from public domain and openly licensed material. Why we do it is because GIFs are very popular all over internet. If you use messaging apps, if you do things on the internet, you will see that a lot of reactions, funny stuff, things from the movies and series, is about GIFs. So this is the way to use a format which is popular, which is easy, in combination with cultural content, to have some fun and also to learn creative skills. If you want to know more about the content, I put the link in there. Next edition is in October 2021. So if you like it today, you can always participate and submit your gifts. But today we are having a mini edition for that. So similarly to the big contest, we also have prizes for uh, 3 gift makers who surprise us with their creativity. It's about being creative, not technically apt or very advanced, or making things that are difficult. So just have fun, follow along, and see what you can get out of it. At the same time, learning about public domain, which is something that is very useful and very nice to know, because not only the gifts but many creative things can be done with resources and art and images which are in public domain. So I have here materials which were prepared for you for today. So here are the images that you can use today. And as you see, there is quite a bit of choice, from drawings to paintings, portraits, landscapes, a little bit of everything. So you can try with one, you can try with a few, and just, watch, see what speaks to you, what you find the nicest, what you would like to work with. I put here on the screenshot also information on how to download it. About this in a moment, I will show you in a live demo how to do it and which is the best format for GIFs, and also which is the best format for other things. But now, how does it work? So a GIF is actually a very small animation made of a few frames. So the minimum is 2. The more you have, the longer it is, but in general is maximum a few seconds long. So every image is 1 frame of the animation. So every time you modify something in your source image and then you put the images together, it will create this impression of movement. So you can make like 2 which are blinking, you can make something longer. It depends a bit on whatever you use as a source image, what effect do you want and how much time you have. I have for you this toolbox. So different tools we'll use today, and a few extras in case you want to explore further. They are all online. You don't have to install anything, and you can just use them in the browser. They are all free. And the first thing we'll do today are portrait emojis, so that if you want to send a reaction to your friend or something like this, instead of searching for a GIF on the internet, you can actually use the one that you made yourself. And let's see how it goes. For this, we need a portrait. So going back to the materials, I'll search for an image that is in portrait. There are a few. Let's see, maybe this one. And here you can see the image. If you don't like it, you can always go back, find another one. But to use it for GIF making, you need to download it. So this is very easy and very clear. You just click on here. But here is where you have to put a bit attention. So it's very beautiful that on Wikimedia Commons, you have all those different sizes, because like full resolution image is useful, for example, if you have like a big graphic project or need something like a background for your desktop. But for today, because it's for GIF making, which should be quite light, you would pick one of the smaller sizes. So either this 512 or 1024 pixels. Like this, it's big enough for you to see what you're doing, but the file is light enough to upload to Giphy and to work with it further. So then I have this image, I save it on my computer. You can change the name, it doesn't really matter at this point. And in my slides, you have this first tool, which is this cartoon flow. So this is something that we'll use today for making emojis out of paintings. So I click to select the photo that I still, it's a painting that I just downloaded. I don't want the cartoon effect. This is not something we are doing today, so I click it out. What I want is face morphing. So this is very easy actually. If you want like a closer look, you can do this face auto crop, then you kind of see it bigger. If for example the face is smaller, let's say in the image. And as you see, he can do all these different emotions. It reloads every time. But if you see something that you find funny or nice, here he's winking, you can save. And every of the stages you can actually download. So here he is winking. I have this downloaded. Maybe I will also download a smile. And let's see, maybe some kind of flirty look. Let's see. So as I showed previously with the dancer, now we have those three different movements. And now we can make a GIF out of them. So again, in this easy GIF tool, it's a GIF maker. You can use images, you can use GIF files. There are some options then to edit them further. I am using the three files which are just created. And so basically these are all the frames from those expressions. Delay time is basically how fast there will be relaying one after another. Loop count is how many times do you want to animate it. So if you put one, it will just do all these actions once and it will stop as a static image. If it's empty, it will look forever. And this is what we actually want. So now I have this GIF of him endlessly looping with those expressions. Then you can here save, you can try some more effects to optimize it. It's not very big, this file, which is okay. If it turns that it's like really huge, you can reduce the size. You can change the speed. There are some overlays which kind of work in the same way as filters on Instagram. And when you are ready, you just save it. So this is the first technique of today. It works the best if you have a portrait looking a bit like this. So the person centrally in the page, otherwise it's better to crop. And because it's software, it's better if there is one. So not like many of them, because then the software is confused. But this is something that you can do very easily. Of course, it's quite simple, but if you are creative and maybe if you combine it with the things that we will learn in a minute, you can do something fun with it. Another technique for today is a color change. So actually you don't change anything in the image itself as of in form. You just change the color to have some kind of result. And this is cool for things like lights going on and off, one little thing like this clown's nose changing colors, maybe changing seasons for the leaves, like if you have something like more landscapey. And it's a very cool effect because you do a very simple action and actually you preserve the image as it was. There is no cropping, there is no cutting, but you give this extra dimension. So for this one, we'll use another software, this Pixlr. This is a nice and free image editor online. It's quite powerful actually for a free piece of software. And there are a lot of options. So for this one, I'll pick another image and again show you the download function. So now for a change, I'll take this landscape. As you see, it's very pretty. Again, download. Again, different sizes. I'll take this one to keep the file light. I'll close this one in the meantime because my computer is really making sounds from all the stuff it's processing right now. So I am in this Pixlr. You can, at the beginning and the entry screen, you can choose between two types. Go for E, which is more advanced, at the same time giving you more options to play. So just drop the file I want to work with. So important here is, again, going back to this dancer that I was showing, each layer in this case here, it's another image. So here we only have one. We go here and just duplicate it for our animation. Like this, you have the original background and the copy in which you can work and change colors. You can have more of them. So if you want like gradually changing colors or like a few different ones, you can always add more. I will do 2 now because of the time constraints. But if you are working further later and you have questions about it, you can always pop a question and we'll troubleshoot you and show you how. But what you have to remember, one layer is one frame of your GIF. And here there is this very nice tool of color replace, which helps you create your color change without getting very messy or without the need of being very precise with what you do, because it's an online editor, you just can do it easily with a mouse. So I pick here a color I would like to change. There is this color picker tool. I click on OK, and here a color I would like to change it into. So here it turns orange, and a little bit of story. It can be just that the season is changing. So this is already the idea that is very simple, but at the same time, in those two frames, you have a little story of seasons changing. As you see, this color change only picks up the color I selected, which makes it very easy, because otherwise it would be very messy with this kind of tree flowers thing. And you can, of course, if you want, do it multiple times, so you can like select those flowers separately and like do them in different colors. You can also make every layer in a different color and then combine. But you always go back to this initial process, which is clicking on the color you want to change, then it shows there on the right side, and it transforms into the color that you see on the left. So here I completed this tree. Sort of is. Of course, the more time you take, the more precise can you do it, and more things you can do. But already with this one, if I just click away this layer, you see a little animation. And it took me like a couple of minutes. So just to give you an idea, and again, you need to select, save each of the layers separately. So I have this one first as a JPEG. It's okay, as it was. And then I activate the one that I just changed, and I save it as well. And from here, again, it's the same story. You need to go back to Easy GIF, the software that I just showed that puts the images together. You select those two images and it will make a GIF out of it, so that you can see it, again, adjust the speed, the options, and download it back. So every time you have the series of images, no matter where you created it, you just pop them to Easy GIF and it will collate them together. Here, as I said before, you can do more things. You can say, for example, one frame is changing the color of this flowers or leaves. You could change the color of the clouds in another one. So it's very easy. A little tip from me here is every time the borders are very well visible in the image, so like in this one, and like thick, it's easy for you to color in. So if you have like impressionist paintings with like strokes of the brush, might be more difficult, but this kind of things are easy because you separately see all the parts. And it's also very nice to play with because you can kind of contest the artist's color choice and put your own, which is a fun thing to do while still having all the forms. So the next one, easy but fun one, are stickers. So this is actually to unreach the existing image and give it some life and give it some fun with just off-shelf stickers which are available on Giphy. So again, you can go back to an image, you can use a new one, you can use the same one that you already modified. You go to Giphy's GIF maker. So this is, I am on gifi.com. You click on create. And here, there you have a few options. So you can create a GIF as you see them. You can create a sticker, which is a similar idea, but with a transparent background. So this is something that you see, for example, on Instagram, if you are posting a story. And backdrop is a new functionality to put a little animation behind your Zoom background, for example, if you are on a call. We'll start with this one. I'll choose the same image to show you kind of different things that you can do with this. So caption, you can write whatever you can do. Public domain month, you can do a little comment to your image. I'll skip it for now and I'll start with the stickers. So we have nice clouds here, but there is no sun. Let's see if there is a fun one to use. So a fun thing to do is really among those stickers to pick something that kind of matches this image a little bit. So that there is this little animation, but it still kind of sticks to the style of the image. And it's like you added your own things. You can resize it. So I'll put it here, kind of behind this cloud. So it's sticking out from this cloud. And as you see, there is a little bit of life in this image already. Maybe some birds like flying through the sky. Let's see what they have. If there is something you don't like and you put it on, it's always very easy to delete. So here they are, but they are not very visible. So I don't like them. I just click on this trash and I search for something better. And let's see, maybe those blue ones, or maybe those are so cute and kind of colorful. Then we can have something maybe sticking out from the grass or walking in this area there. Maybe a cat. Let's see if there is a nice one. So Kiki can sleep here, and you can do as much of that as you want. Of course, within, it's always super tempting to put more and more things, but within the reasons to just give a little bit of movement and a little bit of story to your image, but without exaggerating that everything is blinking, because then it kind of loses the artistic value. Well, it's when it's only a few things, it's just fun, and you also can kind of show the parts of the image you like the most, and give it a bit of life and a bit of fun. There are also filters. So yeah, sometimes if you want to do something spooky, for example, you have like a dark room, you can change it into bad TV. It gives it this old school vibe, black and white. You can try different things if you want, but I think for here there's already quite a bit of texture and movement, so I'll skip it. So you can also draw and add some extra stickers if you want. As I said, every time you experiment, you don't like something, like I think, oh, maybe actually dancing avocado is cool, then I don't think that You can get rid of it if you want. But once you decide you are ready, you can continue to upload. So a nice thing to do is to use the source image URL so that other people, if they see the painting online in your GIF and they are curious what it was, they can get back to it. So you can just either click here, or if you do use this file on the web, you also get here link to use as a credit. So some tags so that your image is findable online. I'll put landscape. Sunny day can be. So if people are searching for this kind of GIF, they can find yours. And as you type one tag, you get here suggested tags, which are sometimes correct, sometimes less, but here good weather is a legit one to use. Sunshine, I added sun, so sunshine is also good. Rating, so if you have like adult content, you should flag it. I don't think there was something like this in the selection, but pay attention to nude. It's just a nice thing to do because children also use GIFs, so just be mindful of that. And like this, you upload your GIF. So normally it's very fast. If you have a bit of a heavier image with a lot of stuff, it can take longer. But usually it should be done within like a couple of minutes more. If sometimes it's like stuck, you might need to refresh the page. So here important, because this is already your GIF here online. Copy the link and save it for yourself. But also for the form for our little contest today. So don't forget that, because otherwise it's difficult to find it back. You can, of course, then share it online with your friends and with whoever you want. And here is how to submit your entry. So as I said, upload to Giphy and have this link, don't forget it. And here we have a form for you where you can submit your entry. We'll look at them today. There's some extra information that we are asking, which I don't know exactly what it says because it's in Indonesian, but I guess it's like a basic information about your name, the source image, and the file and this kind of stuff. So just go for it. Don't use your link because you worked hard for it. And that was all for my little walkthrough. Now it's your turn to make your own GIFs, to play with all the tools that we have. You are all in the document, so you can go back to every stage. If you have questions or you are stuck somewhere a little bit, ask in the chat, and I will say good luck and start creating. This is something fun to do.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Aleksandra, for the walkthroughs on how to make GIFs. So there are several easy ways that we can take to create a simple GIFs. So now it's your time to create your own GIFs. Oh, okay. So Somebody already asked the link, so I will send it on the chat. Here is the link you can use to submit your GIFs if you've already create one. If you are if you haven't created your own GIFs, now you can create it. And if you have any questions regarding um, the GIF, you can ask it on the chat. I already has a question here. Oh, can you use any other pictures other than materials for Public Domain Day 2021 in Indonesia? But from comments, actually, for today's event, we suggest that you use that materials that we have provided for you, just to make it simple. But if you, apart from this event, you want to create your own GIFs using other images from Commons, you are most welcome to. Just to make sure that the images that you use are permissible or can legally be used. So make sure that you see the licenses, which we will um, have a little bit of discussion later. But technically, yes, if you wanted to be creative and create more than one GIFs using other sources or other images from Wikimedia Commons, you are welcome to do that. So
Yeah, for today
yeah,
it's very easy because
yeah,
everything that is selected for you is public domain.
yeah.
And moreover, these are images which are kind of nice to explore, and it's a little selection to get you creative because the limitations often make you creative. But of course, for every other occasion, you can search all over the place. But as Yvonne said, it's important to be aware what kind of images you can use and for what occasions and on what conditions. So today, whatever you click from the selection will be good. Sometimes you have to put a bit of more work into finding out whether you can actually use an image.
Okay, so we have a question from Andri Prasetya.
Yeah.
Um, is there any creative restraints in adding or changing the work that we use to make a GIF in regards to ethics? So, what do you say, Aleksandra? What are the
So
creative?
technically, for public domain, you can use everything. Of course, there is kind of a cultural norm, which in every country and in every community will be a little bit of different. You should avoid adding elements which are abusing, which represent like violence, sort of graphic things, or if it's something that is offensive. So for today, for sure, it's a nice event. We are learning nice stuff. Try to make something nice. If it's art, you also have, of course, artworks just by artists, which sometimes talk about different things, which are difficult topics. You also have content, for example, by indigenous cultures, which in some countries is protected. So you should always think twice. And if you are unsure, you should ask for every research project, art project, something creative you are doing using someone's work. Just try to consult and find out. But in general, like, you should be free to be creative, but also being mindful is kind of way to go for it, I guess.
Okay, another question is from Emrit1. Is it possible to upload a GIF link but using cartoon.fo.to link? I don't know what it is. Cartoon.
Oh, in the software, you can try it. So you can then right click and do show image address and then put it in the cartoon. It should be possible to upload it. If by chance it doesn't work because it doesn't want to upload from, another place online, you just download to your computer and put back. But this is something you can try.
Okay. We have no more questions, but right now we're giving participants to some time to create their own GIFs, and probably they're still looking at the images that we provide and trying to find which images they would like to use. While waiting for them creating their own GIFs, why don't we have a little discussion here, Aleksandra? So that participants can work and can listen to us at the same time.
Sounds
So,
good.
Aleksandra, can you maybe tell a little bit about Give It Up? How did you come up with this event, Give It Up, and how long has
Oh,
it been? Yeah.
I think it's like a seventh edition this year. I
Mm.
mean, 2021 that we'll be doing, or even eighth. I didn't come up with it.
Oh,
So
okay.
actually, DPLA came up with it, and we were asked to kind of provide content.
Mm.
And I found it an amazing idea, and I just started to work at Europeana this time. So I was really into it, and we created a blog. And I thought, like, if we are actually asking people to participate in the contest, it's nice to make it a bit easier, inform them about the licenses, a bit what we are doing now, to show them how, and to kind of wake their creativity up. So in the coming years, kind of Europeana got the chance to lead on this contest. So this is how we slowly implemented all these ideas. So making a selection of artworks to make it easy, in the same way as you provided the selection of artworks
Mm.
today. Running workshops. So we ran, when it was still possible, we ran workshops physically. So for example, at the Frankfurt Book Fair, which is like a very big event about publishing and mostly about like books, but there was like a digital section in which we participated, and this is where we ran workshops. We also did for education. So just before the pandemic, we were supposed to run workshops for like lots of kids at Mobile Congress in Spain. But now that all the world passed online, we are teaching, of course, online, which seems to work very well, because GIF is kind of native digital way of expressing itself, expressing yourself, and it's also very popular. So like GIF is one of the biggest sites in the world. If you use Instagram, if you use WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, whatever messenger app, if you use Facebook and you want to comment, it's very likely that at least once in your life you use the GIF. And it's then close to you, and it's cool to then be able to make your own and get creative with that.
Yeah, and I've heard like last year, in a museum in India also organized their own Give It Up event. How how's that? How's that come about? Is that a collaboration with Europeana, or how was it?
Yeah, so actually in India, well, in Europe, there is some kind of a longer period that we work with Creative Commons, and increasing number of the institutions open their content and share it to the public and do creative stuff. In India, it was kind of a pioneering idea by DAG museums, and actually them and Medhavi Gandhi from the Heritage Lab had this idea of, running just as a test or as a pilot, without massive expectations, but just out of the willingness to opening up, seeing what will happen. and if people will pick it up, if it will be a nice way to understand Creative Commons and like, you know, creative reuse. So they did it over the summer with like 14 artworks, but it was received well, and based on that, then they were a partner in the main edition in October. So they actually got this artworks used and showed to the public twice, and they got very into it. They will be partner next year, but they also inspired other institutions in India to also look into opening their content, because based on what they saw by the participants doing, it kind of shows, especially in this time when, you know, exposure and reuse are kind of the new currency of online interactions. They were really into it. So this actually started as a small test, which then, based on the results and everyone's work and you know, willingness to do more about Creative Commons, just went further.
So this is an annual event, right? So this October, it will be another edition. There will be another edition of GIF. Yeah. Okay. So maybe the participants of this workshop can who now knows how to create GIFs. They can maybe participate in this year's Give It Up. You do receive submissions from all around the world, right?
Yeah, we get really from all the countries around the world. We also had this year another new partner, Japan Search. So it's a Japanese platform collecting the digitized content from Japanese museums. So we had a lot of Japanese participants, but also participants from Europe, Americas, Asia, just looking into and using this new content from Japan Search. So everyone trying and making GIFs today is of course very welcome to use the skills that they learned in October. We usually announce the contest a bit earlier. There are also workshops, so if if you want to do something further, kind of remember about us in the autumn. There will be probably more opportunities to follow along and learn some more techniques. And of course, there are prizes which are, as today we have little prizes. We have a jury, we have a public vote. So if you have a lot of friends, you can ask them all to vote for your thing for a chance to win.
So, Aleksandra, all of the cultural heritage images that are being used on Give It Up are all public domain. Is that true, or
No,
do
they
you
are
know?
not all public domain. They are all openly licensed. So everything from like CC BY SA, CC BY, CC0, and public domain are in. We have a field to provide credit. So all the other non-public domain, I mean, in general, we ask for credit, but it allows like CC BY SA, CC BY images to still be used. But of course, public domain is like the easiest choice.
Yeah. So, okay. So for the participants, if you are still have questions, of course you're welcome to tap it up. But as for those of you who doesn't know, our event today is part of a series of events in order to commemorate Public Domain Day, which is which is always falls on 1st January every year. So this is our third event. Previously, we have like an online seminar on what is public domain. If you missed that, we will have it on YouTube. But for those who are wondering or didn't participate in the previous seminars and probably wondering what is public domain, Aleksandra, can you please probably give a brief description what is public domain and what is it?
Yeah, so public domain is actually a mark. So it's not a license, it's a mark. And normally 70 years after the death of creator, his artworks, his work of life, also the books, it applies to different formats, not only images, it's also for the books. apps, plans, concepts, they enter the public domain. And this means the public means that they can be used by the public freely. So you can do whatever you want with it, recreate, play, use for your own projects, print, hang on your wall, make GIFs. So whatever comes to your mind. Of course, sometimes there are limitations because the actual artwork and its digital representation sometimes by some legislations are perceived as two different objects. So this makes the situation complicated. Sometimes the copyrights are kind of being held for longer, but in an ideal world, the creators get paid when they are alive for their work, but when they are there for more than 70 years, their work kind of start to belong to everyone. And this is where you are allowed to use it for your own projects, creative research, recreating, put it on a t-shirt, use it as a pattern. This is something for, I guess, everyone. So not only the culture professionals, but for everyone. It's a part of our kind of shared culture and heritage that in this way we can keep alive. And for me, especially for in the digital era, it's something that is really nice that you can pick an old picture, an old painting, and actually adapt it to the current reality, which would give it up this year, which was in the middle of the pandemic, which is very new for everyone. We actually saw it, like people creating their GIFs on the topic of either the pandemic, social distancing, climate change, so the very actual topics, but using public domain or openly licensed works from the past.
So I have a technical questions. You said that the cultural heritage images used for Give It Up not it's not only public domain but also openly licensed images.
Yeah.
How does licensing works on Giphy? Like, for example, usually we are exchanging GIFs on a chat messenger like WhatsApp, etc. So how does licensing works for that that kind of usage? Or like in Giphy, I'm not sure if there is an information about licenses, or how does that work other than for images other than public domains?
So similarly to today, for Give It Up, we have a form. So actually,
Okay.
the form is where we gatekeep that the images that are used can be used and that there's credit. So we always ask, similarly to your form, for the source, and then we just check it. And this is a big chunk of work, like really hours of clicking, making sure the images can be used. But there is no other way to avoid it, because what we want is when the image goes on Giphy, we want to make sure it can be used. And of course, for every other type of content, there it's something that you cannot control. People upload whatever they want, but us, because we are a public institution, but also Give It Up is about education. At the moment of uploading to Giphy, it has to be cleared, and it's being cleared as stop earlier, so in the form. But so as we have a question today, can we use other content from elsewhere? This is
Yeah.
something that people always kind of, who know nice sources or know nice museums sharing content online, it always comes back. So when we ask for the submissions, we always make sure there is an image, there is a source, there is licensing information, which are clear. And only when this is cleared up internally, the images go to the GIFs go to Giphy.
Okay. I've heard some common questions that are usually posed by digital creators. Um, something like if I use public domain images for my work and then sell it to a client, is that possible? How do you say? What do you say?
Yeah,
Like
with public domain, it is possible. You can also use public domain content for commercial purposes.
so usually, you are working with many GLAM institutions, galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, which have collections dating way, way back, and then they are digitizing their public domain. But maybe many of the participants here are creators in this digital era. Do you see any value for creators to open up, maybe not all but some of their collections in an openly licensed images? Or what do you say about that?
It depends a bit on the character of your work, obviously, but because if you create something which is like has a a purpose, it's for a company, for a specific client, you cannot do it. But if it's something that is for the public good, for example, you have a piece of music and or a piece of animation, or I don't know, a nice kind of element of a pattern, that you are okay with everyone using, then why not? um, it's also if your work is kind of social, socially oriented, for the common good, and you are looking for maybe other type of recognition than um, like financial, then you can go for it. You can also select a few things and open their licenses and see if it brings you something, if it changes anything, and then see about that. It's of course a personal choice, and I guess it depends on the situation. Also, if you are, for example, if you have a day job and if you are kind of an amateur creator and you are more into having kind of visibility than the specific like money from a project, it's also a way to go. But there are people who release yeah their work in open licenses. I guess the best is to ask for their reasons.
Mm. Okay, let's check in a little bit with our participants. We have already received 4 responses on the form. Um, I'm just checking about for the other participants. Are you doing okay? Do you need any assistance? Do you have any questions? You may ask it. You can raise your hand so that we can unmute you and you can talk to the talk uh, directly. Or if you're more comfortable chatting on the chat, it's possible as well. Okay. Well, maybe we will have around 10 minutes for participants to create their GIFs. I see that there are certain people who are just joining. I will send the link again so you can follow the presentation of Aleksandra previously. It's all there in the link, and you can, if you open the presentation, you can follow the instructions and create your own GIF. There is also a form there you can submit to. Okay, so we have a question from Fitri. Is there any GIF from public domain that is your favorite, Aleksandra, from your previous Give It Up events?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the Give It Up Gifi page, which I can link for you, there is this thing that I just submitted while walking you through, so ignore it. But there are so many that it's very hard to choose one, because you have like different styles and you have different artworks used, and it's kind of like there's a GIF for every mood and every situation. So the answer is not no, I don't have one specific, but I use many of them if I have to like give a presentation sometimes about something totally else. But I see like a GIF from a painting, which kind of illustrates my point. I will always go for it. So I just linked our kind of Giphy. So if you are still searching for inspiration for like this couple of minutes to go, you can also take a look. There are really the simple ones created based on the workshops we like this we run before the event. So go for it.
Okay. Aleksandra, maybe can you talk a little bit about your role in Europeana and the role that Europeana plays in the cultural heritage as in general?
Yes, of course. So, as you mentioned before, Europeana is a digital platform for European cultural heritage, and we give access to content from over 3,500 cultural institutions across Europe. So, different types of glams in there, from like big museums to like small sometimes quite local libraries. And because it's Europe, of course we speak all those different languages, which if you want to search for something from another country is usually quite tricky if you have to find the local library website stuff. On Europeana, we keep all this content together. We also try to make the website kind of searchable in different languages so that you can access various content. It's a hard work and it's difficult, and of course, there are lots of technical issues that come along that have to be solved. But yeah, when we see things like Give It Up, or we also have like educational department where teachers actually from our teacher community are creating learning scenarios which are then used at school, and especially now with lockdown, with online learning, this is something that became very important. We kind of see the value of it, on of like giving the best experience possible to our users. It's always work in progress, especially for a giant website as ours of more than 50 million of records, which is like enormous if you think about that. But at the same time, we try to select from all those images like stories and things that are a bit interesting and a bit of fit the current reality and curate them. And this is where my role and my teams comes in. So for example, when pandemic started, we made some effort into curating content about like vaccines and pandemic throughout the history. For Women's History Month, we try to get the content about women in history from different countries and different institutions. So, female scientists, artists, social activists, and women who changed the history but are not given so much credit. The same if there is like Christmas, we'll find postcards from different countries to show people. And this is something that is nice because it gives context. But of course, for Europe, you have those different countries, which, like comparing to Indonesia, are quite small. But each has a distinctive culture, often also a language, traditions. But a lot of those things are shared. So this is something that we also can show easily, like this cross-national and pan-European context, so that people kind of see a different point of view than what they see when they go to a local museum or library, national library in their country, which is more like focused on the specific country.
Mm. Okay, Aleksandra, we have a question here. Besides this Give It Up, what else does Europeana have? What kind of other activities does Europeana have in engaging people to use public domain materials?
So we have contests for educators and teachers. So this is something, let's say, the basic concept of reusing is similar to Give It Up, but they are on different topics. So, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we had an activity called Reinventing Beethoven, and it was to celebrate the 250th anniversary of his birth. And we asked educators to create things about him, kind of to be used at schools. We also have like smaller contests. Sometimes we had a photo contest, for example, when we asked people to recreate the pictures of the old kind of vintage postcards from Balkan countries. So this is like Croatia, Slovenia, where people often go on holidays. We had really a lot of postcards on Europeana, and we asked people to go to exactly the same place. The postcards, the picture for the postcards was taken, and to take the same picture, and it was really a lot of fun because people really went for it during their holidays. We have creatives who also just use our content by themselves. So sometime in the coming weeks on Europeana, we will have a feature of someone who made all her like Christmas postcards using public domain content from Europeana. They are really fun and really beautiful. So if you visit our website in a few weeks, you can see it. We also had like a Japanese comic book illustrator who also used like World War I pictures for her like graphic novels. So we try to stimulate people, but there are also a lot of people who just have their own ideas and then go to Europeana to get inspired. And this is something that we really like because, of course, as a team, as Europeana, we can propose something, but like everyone is different, everyone has different projects, and if people go for it, it's something really nice to see.
Okay, we have another question from Airlangga.
Yeah.
The question is about licensing. There's a lot of GIF or meme or sticker in Indonesia created from a viral video or even news from television. How does the licensing apply in such scenario? And does the uploader or the TV station who owns the footage have the right to say no if they don't approve such work, or is it already in a public domain?
It's not. If it's something from a recent movie or TV
Mm.
show or like something created lately for TV or even like for YouTube, it's under copyright. And this means in theory, if you want to create a GIF out of it, you should seek permission from the copyright owner, which depending on the situation, if it's from TV, it might be a TV station. If it's a movie, it's whoever produced and created the movie. In practice, it doesn't happen. Of course, you can prosecute and you can sue the people who created those GIFs. It's also kind of the weighting of consequences and all the process is that kind of comes to play, that having something viral is actually a good promotion. So sometimes chasing it doesn't make sense. Yet, if there is something that is in copyright and you have an intention to use it, especially if it's for kind of your own benefit or fame, or to show you or yourself as an artist, you should be seeking for permission. I guess all those viral videos, they are made for fun. So this is something different. But if you want to be recognized as an artist and creator, it's better to seek permission every time you are using something in copyright.
Yes, I find this an interesting question because usually when you find GIF on your messenger, it's usually a clip from a TV show or movie, so um, that does not counted as a fair use, right? It's a copyrighted material, and you have to seek permission from the original author or creators, right?
Yeah, so on if you look on Giphy, actually there is a section for partners, and
Mm,
there will be different companies who kind of create their own GIFs and
mm,
stickers,
I
and
see.
then they can be used, and they give permission because they put them out. But if you
Mm,
just like take, a funny face from a movie
mm,
and stuff, like fair use is also not kind of everywhere seen in the same as legal form. It doesn't exist in the same way.
yeah.
It's kind of a US, I think,
Mm,
centric form. But yes, there is. It's typically it's a copyright infringement that could be prosecuted. But yeah,
mm,
in
yeah.
this situation,
Nobody
it's just
actually
feasible.
doing that. But so now I'm wondering if all of the gifts available on Giphy can be used legally, or how does that work actually? Or is
Well,
it different?
so Giphy, I think they kind of see themselves as a search engine, and they have a
Mm,
source
mm, I see.
field.
Mm,
So because there is a source field, it's kind of a way of giving credit.
mm,
Whether you use it or not, yeah, it's something different, but it's the same, unfortunately, or fortunately in some ways, with every social platform, that actually
mm,
the control over what you upload is limited. There is no automatic check there, it's
mm,
technically it's quite difficult. But every time the creators' rights are actually, broken, and they have rights to
mhm,
prosecute.
okay.
And it's less of a, well-known movies where a lot of people like created a funny meme or gif. But if there is a creator which is created something and it's picked up by a bigger, let's say, brand or something better known, and this is used, then it's the situation where it's quite has big consequences, because there is a loss of income probably into play, and it's just unfair.
Okay, so is there any questions either regarding gift making or regarding anything about public domain and licensing? Okay, I think we have a new question here. Um, okay, is if we are using a public domain images to create a GIF, is there a possibility that we are the new rights owner or the new copyrights owner? Or are we obliged to release it to the public domain too? What do you think?
So the artworks,
The
let's say,
artwork, yeah, it's public. Is it public domain?
no, it's not.
Um,
So public domain is basically a mark. So you cannot put your work in public domain yourself.
okay. Mm-hmm.
When you are alive, you cannot do it because it's a mark that kind of goes into life 70%, 70 years after the
Mm-hmm.
creator's death.
Mm-hmm.
You can release it under a license, and it can be a CC license, so CC0, CC BY, CC BY SA, or if you just use the public domain source image and build on it, you can put it in copyright.
Hmm. I see. So, yeah, so you have to license it, or so basically, if you're using public domain images and you remix it or reuse it, you are creating a new rights. You
Yeah,
are the
your
owners of the
yeah,
copy.
new work. And so for Give It Up, we have in terms and conditions that actually the creations are openly licensed under CC by SA. And so in this way they can be shared, but also we try to always trace back to the source, so to submission page on Give It Up, to kind of give the authors the way to be recognized.
Okay, so the next question is, can you, yeah, well, it's, I think basically you have answered this question. Can you license a GIF from Giphy under Creative Commons license?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if it's your own work, yeah, you can
Yeah.
yourself choose the license.
Let
Very well
me,
done, everyone. It was really like a short workshop, and I am really impressed that you guys within a minute
okay.
just created your stuff. And congratulations to the winners. And of course, in October, there is the Give It Up edition, where you can create and submit more GIFs if you liked it.
Yeah, thank you for thanks to you, Aleksandra, for leading this workshop, and thanks to everyone who's participating. Anyway, thanks again to everyone who participates, and congrats again to the winner. And thank you, Aleksandra, for leading the workshop. So goodbye, and hope to see you in the next occasions. So have
Thanks,
a nice weekend, everyone.
and I hope everyone stays creative.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Aleksandra.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Aleksandra.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure, and thanks for having me.